Hey, it's Mike and Shelley with Campin with Confers. Welcome back. This week we are boondocking at Strouds Run State Park under some interesting circumstances. There's a burn ban and a drought we're dealing with. So we thought this would be the perfect opportunity to share with you our favorite boondocking tips and tricks while we're set up off-grid. We will also be heading out on a hike to Hocking Hills State Park with our daughters, so we hope you enjoy that as well.
No water. The spigot's dead over there.
Is it broken?
No, it looks like they put a new one in, but there's no water coming out of it. And we're not using that one.
No. What about
there's
down
some
there?
up here. We can go up and try it and see if they've got water there.
Oh, dang.
Oh, dang. All right, here's another spigot. Let's see if it's got any water. And the survey says, woohoo! All right, so we do have water. Now let's get this puppy filled up. We've got water.
Oh, good. I thought you were going to say no water there either.
Nope, we got it. So I'm just going to run the hose down and underneath and around, and we'll make it happen.
Crisis averted.
There we go. It's got good pressure too. I remember last time we were down here, the pressure wasn't great, so maybe they just beefed up the system or something. But that old spigot's not working anymore.
So while he's getting the water, I'm going to get the little paper. So you can't reserve these sites online. They're only first come, first serve. And they have like this little tripper thing that when a car goes through, then the host knows that somebody's here, and she gives you like 10 minutes, and then she shows up to make sure that you've paid. She does a good job though, so there's not an on-site host. So we come here and get the little thing here and fill it out. Oh, see, we are under a burn ban here. I don't think that we mentioned that earlier. This is the first time ever in I don't ever remember Ohio having a burn ban to where we couldn't have, to this extreme. So the drought is so bad that almost every county, you can't even use a grill outside, not a gas grill. You can use an electric grill, but that's it. Oh yeah, here's another sign. So no campfire for us tonight. Let's go see how the water filling process is going.
Right, so tank's full. What we have learned is this thing will siphon itself empty. So we had to put this little shut off in there, so it doesn't just siphon itself empty before we get to the campsite. So let's go shut the water off and we'll be ready. Bam. Bug just flew up my nose.
It's that one right there.
No, it's not.
Is it that one right there? Wait, what's I see the fire pit? Oh, it's not that one. It is this one.
Right?
It is this one.
Say it. Say it out loud.
He's right.
Mm-hmm.
This one time he was right. It's site 36.
Pro is on. I'm talking to you without pushing the button down. I'm just answering you, but there's no button pushed.
That's stuff I would do. So normally there's a creek that runs back through here. So with the drought, I wonder if there's anything flowing. Oh no, oh my gosh. It's a completely dry creek bed. Nothing here. so crazy too how the leaves are falling already, and we're not getting like pretty fall colors. It's like they're just turning yellow, falling off. That's that. No water back there at all, Michael. Not even a not even
probably gonna be dry.
not even a trickle.
You ready to slide, Clyde?
Let me inspect the situation first.
Inspect on, Inspector. All right. So knock on wood. Ever since we've gotten this Wintech slide replaced, it has worked seamlessly. So Mama's bringing out the slide, and we will be all set up for another fun-filled weekend here at Strouds Run. So I'm gonna get the dogs out. I got to set up a couple blocks underneath these stairs, get them leveled up, and we will be set to go, and then I'll start setting up the solar. All right, so we got the camper all set up. Now it's time to get the solar stuff out. So this is site 36. It is our very favorite spot down here at Strouds Run. Like Shelly said earlier, we come down here fairly often to see her daughter, but this is site 36. You can see how busy the campground usually is down here. And this is kind of a normal weekend, except deer season. Deer season gets a little busy. But you have nice open space, a fire pit you're not allowed to use, and access to the dry creek because there ain't no water because we're in a drought. Site 36 in a nutshell. So let's start out by explaining to you guys why we love to go out and go dry camping or boondocking or whatever it is that you guys want to call it. Like this weekend, we have an entire campground to ourselves with the exception of like 3 other people in tents.
Yeah, it's a small campground, but
yeah, it's like 60 sites. But still, there's one other camper here and they're way down at the other end. So why do we like getting out to places like this? Just to get away. You know, there's no cell service out here. It's a nice escape from busy life.
yeah, and you get like a little closer to nature, I think.
Maybe a mile down through the campground, across the road, and down another drive is a beach. So it's walkable. But really the only thing out here are the squirrels and the buckeyes that are falling out of the trees right now.
Yeah, we've been able to experience some beautiful places, boondocking. We've been on the Wall in South Dakota. We've been in the White Mountains.
We were up on Peak 1 or something in Colorado.
Yeah.
You know, just beautiful places that if you don't have some kind of a solar setup and or generator, you really can't go to these places.
Yeah. And nice, easy, quick harvest host
Oh,
stopovers too. You know, it's good to have some type of solar generator for that. So having said that, going to these beautiful places, you don't get those without having some challenges. Right. And when we started out, we didn't really know how to manage those things. So that's why we thought that at the end of this weekend, we would share
some tips and tricks on how you don't screw up what we've screwed up.
We're just here to help you out.
Right. So yeah, we've learned some things about managing power and managing water and managing, you know, our tank storage. And we want to share those little tips and tricks that we've learned with you guys.
Yeah, we're going to try to make this really quick. We don't want to go on and on. I'm not going to share too many stories just because I want to get these to you quick.
Right.
So first up, the most important thing is power management.
Yeah, so your solar input is where it's at. So you've got to have the battery storage and you've got to have the solar power to charge those batteries. So just really quick what we have, we're sitting on 200 amp hours of batteries, 400 watts of solar on the roof, and 300 watts of solar that is movable. So here's a snippet from a couple of trips ago showing you guys exactly what we have in our rig. So this system comes with two 200-watt solar panels from Renogy. So super easy to set up here. You just screw them down. run them up and down through the roof. Those wires will run down into the charge controller, which is what I'm going to show you next. All right, don't mind my mess in here, but the second part, this is your charge controller. So the wires from the solar panels come down, they plug into the bottom of this charge controller. It takes all that solar energy, cleans it all up, turns it into electricity, into 12 volt, and then it runs out the bottom of it and connects over into your batteries. So your batteries are linked together. We have two of them. I know it's hard to see back in there, but this system comes with two 100 amp hour lithium smart batteries, self-warming batteries. The juice from those batteries gets sent up through your converter inverter combo, which is what turns the 12 volt power into your 120 volt power to run all of your appliances and stuff inside the camper. And the last piece of the one core system, or of this system, is the one core system. So it can show you all the information that your inverter's doing. It will show you what your charge controller's up to and how much stuff you got coming in and out, or coming in. And you can look at your individual batteries. Like right here, we're on battery 1. Now we're on battery 2. It shows you the temperatures and the voltage and everything that's inside your batteries. So this system is just like the starter base system. It is expandable. You can grow on it. You can add batteries. You can add solar panels. I'd like to get to 600 or 800 amp hours of battery and just pretty much cover the roof on the rig with solar panels and get as much coming into those batteries as I can fit.
So after you have maximized your energy input, you next have to keep an eye on your usage.
Right. But before we get into usage, now let's shift. All right, so now that you have your batteries all charged up, once you start using your batteries, you got to keep an eye on those things to make sure you're not killing them before the end of the day, because you're not going to get any sun throughout the night. So you really have to manage how much power you are actually using. So the one thing that we found is the biggest draw on us is our refrigerator. So we learned very quickly not to run the refrigerator on the 12 volt, to run it off of propane, because it would suck our batteries dry in a matter of about 4 or 6 hours.
Yeah, and just doing simple things like don't keep lights on when you don't need to be using those lights. Minimize using the microwave or the hair dryer, because again, those are really large power hogs. Also, a thing that we just learned this weekend that we had never even thought about before was turning the inverter off when you're not using it.
Yeah, because the inverter uses power from your batteries even when you're not using anything. So
should you explain what the inverter does? I did not know. When we got the solar system, I didn't understand what the inverter did.
Yeah, so the inverter, without the inverter, you can have a solar setup with solar panels and lithium batteries and run 12 volt stuff all day long and you'll be great. The inverter is like the part of the system that, in my opinion, you have to have. So the inverter is what takes your 12 volt power and ramps it up to your 120 to run your microwave and TV and all of that stuff. So,
and your coffee pot.
And your coffee pot. That's the most important one. And while I'm thinking of it, another big thing that burns battery juice quick, fast, and in a hurry is your hot water tank. So make sure you're using the propane heater on your hot water tank and not the electric. So another way that we boondock, even if we do run out of sunshine or you get some nasty, cloudy, rainy days, is we always carry our handy dandy Westinghouse 4500 watt generator with us.
Yeah, it's a gas generator.
Yep.
But it really is a must. So we boondocked before we had solar with just the generator. And so the next category for tips on boondocking is water conservation. I told you I was not going to ramble with a bunch of stories, and I'm really not. But the first thing is know where to get your water filled up.
If you're curious, just look up Baldy Mountain in Colorado, right?
Breckenridge,
Colorado.
You should not be
So go check out Baldy Mountain and try to imagine taking your fifth wheel to the summit of Baldy Mountain. That's where we were. But anyway, tips and tricks on how to conserve water. 1, know how many gallons your tank is. 2, get yourself a water gauge so you know how many gallons that you have put into your tank so you know how many gallons you've got to use.
Do you have to have that if you have the shutoff valve though?
No, you can fill it until your overflow goes over as long as you know how big your tank is. But just because you have a 40-gallon tank doesn't mean that you're going to get 40 gallons of water in it. Depending on where they put the overflow in your tank, it could be 2, 3, 4 inches down from the top of your tank, and your 40-gallon tank might only hold 30 gallons.
I feel like that is a tip though, that how you added that shutoff valve, which I think we showed you at the beginning of the video when we got water. Having that keeps that water from siphoning out.
Right.
Yeah. So, okay, so getting water. Now you need to conserve that water. And one way that you can conserve the water is by taking what they call Navy showers, right? We have the shower head with the on-off.
Yeah, just a little lever on the shower head, and it's simple. Get in, get wet, shut the water valve off on the shower head. Lather up, flip it back on, rinse off, and get out. Save your water.
Yeah, and believe this, he times me. He's in there beating on the door if I've had the little thing on too long.
Yeah, because that's the big thing with us is the longer we conserve our water, the longer we can stay out. We have the generator, so if we run out of solar, we can make more power. I can't make more water.
As long as you have gas. You have to have gas to run the generator.
That's true, but I always have 10 gallons of gas with me just in case.
Another thing that you can do with the shower is you can put a tub in the shower to collect the water that's running off, and you can actually use that to flush your toilet to save on water there. And also
in the kitchen sink.
Yeah, you can also do that in the kitchen sink. I mean, I guess you could use that to flush, but to me, I think about whenever I use it in the sink, and I have done this, you know, I'll wash the dishes in a pan inside the sink, and then I can use that, you know, throughout the day as I get more dishes. And then a lot of the campgrounds have gray water basins that you can dump into, so you can save your tanks by
getting rid of that water in the basin instead of in our tanks.
Right, yeah.
True. So yeah, just like you're keeping track of how much battery you have left, you have to keep track of how much tank space you have left. And then I also have a collapsible water bladder. I think it holds 30 gallons, but it rolls up super tall, super small, and we can just store it in one of the pass-throughs. So if we do run dry on water, I can drive, pick up water somewhere in the bed of the truck, bring it back and siphon it into our tanks.
So another tip that we have would be just around like meal prepping. If you can like do all your slicing and dicing and rinsing of vegetables in advance, that's going to save on dirtying dishes and using the water.
And tons of time.
Yeah, yeah. We even do some meal prepping of entire meals that we'll just keep in the freezer so we can just warm those up. Another thing is we use paper plates when we're boondocking typically. Whenever even if we're not boondocking, whenever we have dirty dishes, I'll wipe those out with a paper towel. I know it seems wasteful, but it saves on the gray tanks. You don't want all that greasy stuff going down your tanks. Okay, right. Also, I use that Dawn power wash spray. You can make your own too, but that's really nice because it just puts the suds right on there, and you can wipe that, rinse it, and it's a quick, easy way to get your dishes done.
Right.
Also, cooking outside, you know, because you don't have to bring the griddle in from the Blackstone to wash it inside. You can just wipe it down out there, and that keeps the heat from
building up inside the rig too. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Last tip.
Okay, guys, so our last tip has nothing to do with solar or power or generators or water or tanks, but it is important.
Yeah, you have to always keep an eye on the weather. So when you're out in these boondocking places, most of the time there's no cell service either. So it's really important to have a weather radio or 2 or 3 like we have in the camper. Make sure they're charged, make sure you've got batteries in them if they're not rechargeable, and pay attention to the weather.
Yeah, they're not expensive, guys. I mean, we have, like he said, we have 3. We have an $18 one, and then we have one that's $60, and they all perform the same. The $60 one just has other gadgets.
Yeah, it's got a flashlight,
radio, and it is solar powered actually too. And we'll put a link to those if you're interested in those. You know, not that you have to get those, but if you're looking for them.
Right. Weather radio, very important. They've saved our biscuits more than once.
Yes,
So,
absolutely.
not to ramble on, but those are some important tips that we wanted to share with you guys that we have learned over the last, 6-8 months of us having this system in our rig.
And we would love to hear any tips that you would have regarding boondocking or really anything in the RV life.
Right.
You can put those in the comments.
And we will put a link to the system that we have in our rig down in the description box.
Yeah.
It's a great starter system. It'll get you up and running. And like we said earlier, you build onto it and make it as big as you want.
Yeah, I don't know if we said, well, in our previous videos we've said, but this system that we have is by Soft Start RV Solar. And the components are primarily Renogy products.
Yep. So it's a pretty good system. It'll get you started, get your feet wet, and then you can start learning what you don't know. Because you don't know what you don't know until you figure out that you don't know it.
And then you can share with us.
Right. All right, guys, good morning. So, said yesterday, we set the panels out here to catch the sun. So, it's morning. I am catching all kinds of sunshine on my portable panels. And then we've got the other 400 watts of solar up on the roof. I should probably go up there and check those and see how dirty they are. I haven't been up there for a couple of weeks to clean them. I don't make mistakes, baby.
You have to share the good with the bad, Michael.
So, what were my 2 mistakes?
One, we left the inverter on all night.
Yeah.
Which drew more battery.
Yeah. And 2,
we left the porch light on last night.
But that was just one little light bulb.
But it's still when
still
you're trying
something.
to conserve, and it's been perfect sleeping weather, so we don't even have to have the AC on. So, like...
Yeah, it was nice. It was like 65 last night.
This is legit, and we want to... I mean, we have the generator that we can charge the batteries if we have to.
Right.
But why use the gas?
Right. We used it yesterday to
and
run the
make
air
noise.
for the dogs.
Yeah, we had to because it was too hot and we were leaving the dogs to go to dinner with Elena. So.
Right.
You gonna go up on the roof and look at those panels?
I'm going to the roof, see how dirty those panels are, so bear with me. All right, so they're not too bad. Not too bad at all. So we just got the 2 of them up here. There's a ton of bees up here though. Holy Moses. So as the year progresses, I'm hoping to cover most of this roof up here with solar panels. That's the goal. I don't know if it's going to happen or not.
You mean the goal of 2025? I don't know. That's not going to happen in 2024.
No, 2025. Listen to her eavesdropping on my conversations with myself and my friends. All right, so we're off for a little walk this morning. We're going to take the dogs over across the street to like where the lake and the boathouse and stuff are, because there's cell service over there.
Yeah, there's no service here. We have Verizon and T-Mobile, and neither one of them work.
If you're looking for a cell signal, you're probably going to want to have the
Starlink?
The Starlink, yeah. Service, because we're going to meet up with Elena and her roommates today and go for a little hike.
That's the plan.
But we don't know where because we don't have any service, so we got to go over there to get service to find out where. So, let's go over. And you can come down here and get canoes and kayaks, and I think paddle boards too, right?
Yes.
And like the pedal duck boats or swans or whatever they are. All right, we made it back to the camper. Dingy's struggling back there. It's all uphill, so. Oh, now she got a little pep in her step. She sees the house. So we've been charging up the batteries with the solar since whatever time the sun came up this morning before I got out of bed. It's now 11:30. I know we started this morning at 76 or 78%. I don't remember. So let's go inside and see what we got for a charge now. Like I said, we got the 400 watts on the roof and then another 300 watts of our portables.
But you're gonna do something different.
Yes, so tonight I'm going to turn the inverter off. Last night I just left it on, but the inverter draws juice just to run itself too. So we're going to turn it off tonight when we go to bed and see what kind of juice we got left tomorrow morning without the inverter running. So let's see what we got for a charge in here. Right now we're at 83% of charge, so we've gone up about 4 or 5%. All right, so one last pro tip: charge your widgets while your generator's on. So we plugged in the computer, we plugged in all of our stuff and things that need the batteries recharged. So
my fan.
Yeah, the fan, everything that runs on batteries is plugged in right now, so we can get those charged up while the generator's going.
Yeah, and when we get back, we'll just turn it off.
Oh yeah.
Because we'll be hanging out outside anyways.
Yep. So got to keep the dinghy cool so she doesn't split like a hot dog.
Out of the microwave.
Out of the microwave, right. It's supposed to be 90 today. Down the road we go to Old Man's Cave to meet the girls for a hike.
Oh, there's a little casita, so we're not the only ones here now. See that?
Little scamp. If they're parking out here, that's not a good sign.
It's not a good sign at all.
Turn left.
Not a shit show.
You've entered the parking lot for your destination.
All right, after 10 minutes of trying to get a parking space, this place is packed.
Yeah, they're parking out on the street, and this parking lot is huge.
Yeah, it's like 3 or 4 levels.
You made a good point. Like, I'm surprised that this is not a national park.
I wouldn't be surprised if they turn it into one someday soon.
But it is beautiful. I mean, it's national park worthy.
Oh, for sure. It's a really nice park, but it's a really busy park too. So.
Tons of people and hot today.
Oh yeah, it's almost 90. It's 1 o'clock.
Let's head up by the visitor center and see if we can find the girls among the thousands of people that are here.
Thousands. All right, we found this motley crew up in the parking lot. Oh yeah. If you've never been to Hocking Hills, this is the kind of scenery that you get all over the place.
Have you guys ever?
What are you guys doing?
I literally couldn't tell you.
Lots of giggling going on back here.
A little bit down here. Keep your eyes peeled. I am. Guys, weird. The walls like a little like. What if Riley just started crawling? Feel that? Oh my god. We've trained for this every day. Justin Timberlake, like sure that's enough. Wait, was Justin Timberlake in sync?
Halfway.
Oh man.
You thought you were done?
Yes, I did.
Does that feel good? Does that feel good? Oh, really? Now you're gonna stop singing?
I said, damn, I ain't as good as I once was.
Go ahead. You got it. You got it. Atta girl. There's actually a little bit of water coming down off of the falls. Look at that. All right, dear. Nice candle set up.
Don't tell anybody.
Super dark. We got a candle out there with some lights.
You're not allowed to have candles.
You're gonna burn your hand, bro.
There's a burn ban. I kind of did ruin it by having my hand over it.
Kinda.
So these are just battery operated candles because yes, the burn ban. So we can't have a fire, but we keep these in the, we actually keep these in the camper so we can use them indoors as light when we're boondocking if we're low on power.
Right.
But since we can't have a fire, we're just doing this. And you're lucky that I'm letting Michael have the camera out because I'm already in my PJs.
Those are your night clothes. Or your lounge wear. That's what they're called.
No, there's a difference in loungewear and PJs.
Mm-hmm.
Ladies, side with me. Isn't there a difference in loungewear and PJs? There absolutely is.
All right, so we're going to blow the candles out and call it a night. Get started again tomorrow morning.
Oh my God, look, that was on my chair. Look at the antenna. Guys, that was just on my chair. I've never seen that. Look at the legs.
The legs aren't that bad. The antennae are impressive.
Oh God, now where did it go?
You guys know what kind of bug that is? That's something.
Do you see those antennae?
All right, good morning, y'all. So it is Sunday morning. Like I said last night, we were going to turn the inverter off and see how much juice we had left over this morning. We left the inverter turned on night before last. We woke up and we had 76 or 78%. I think it was 76% battery life left. So we got up this morning. I kicked the inverter on and made a pot of coffee before I came to say hello to you guys, because let's face it, I need coffee before I get a camera in my hand. And after coffee, we are still at 81%, but this morning when I got up, we were at 86% just by turning the inverter off at night. The only thing that we really used was the 12-volt plugs to charge our phones, because the battery bank is also dead, and I forgot the cord to charge it. So, dead battery bank, no charging cord,
Fail.
Bad combination. So, until next week, guys.
Keep your adventures going.
See you later.